welcome to today's lecture. Today's lecture will be focusing on type. Type is a fundamental part of any print, design, or other medias. What is type? Type can be used as text to read, as a shape, and as a visual element that conveys an emotion or mood. Almost all visual medias require a form of type. With so many fonts to choose from, sometimes when type is used, well, it doesn't even need an illustration or photo to back it up. Typography is even a form of art in itself. Type in InDesign. So we've used this tool a couple times, but on our left-hand side of our InDesign folder window. On the left-hand side of our InDesign window, you will find the Type tool. Characters. A character represents each piece of type: letters, numbers, spaces, or punctuation. InDesign gives you the ability to manipulate each character for maximum versatility. In this palette, you can control the type of font, font style, size, kerning, leading, tracking, and much more. Type styles. Type styles that you would have traditionally grown up with would be bold, italic, and underline. The Apple world does things a little differently. Light is a thin text, book, regular, medium, slightly thicker. Oblique is another term for italics. Black is bold, and heavy is a thicker bold. So each of these options are independent to the font. Some fonts will have no options, and some fonts will have thousands of options. So it's all depending on what you're doing. If you can find a nice free font with a large font family, it just gives you way more options. But it's not uncommon to find only one font option when downloading a font. Paragraph. In the paragraph palette, you are able to manipulate an entire body of text. The areas you can manipulate are the indents, drop caps, align the text, and indicate if you want hyphenated words. Kerning. Kerning is the process of adjusting the spacing between characters in a proportional font, usually to achieve a visually pleasing result. So a typical font with no kerning means the letters line up next to each other. Where one ends, the next one starts. With kerning, we can manipulate this space in between the letters so that the letters aren't actually overlapping. However, visually, they kind of cohere together a little bit better. So the A and the V are overlapping each other's space, but also making a nicer, cleaner look. And the W and A, the A kind of nestles in underneath the top of the W. Leading. Leading is the distance between two lines of type. The word leading originates from the strips of lead used when hand-setting type for an old-fashioned printing press. So the leading is just the space between. You can kind of adjust. Sometimes, I don't know if you did it in school, but sometimes when you have to write an essay, you could change that space between the lines to kind of fill up a page a little bit more. This can be used in magazines if an article is a little short, or it could just be used to make it more legible and easier to read. Tracking. Tracking is a form of letter spacing, not to be confused with kerning. Tracking refers to the amount of space between a group of letters to affect the density of a line of block of text. So you notice in the top line of Applied Media and Communication Arts, all the letters are squished together, touching, and so it affects all of them. Applied Media and Communication Arts in the middle, that one is our standard tracking, and then at the bottom, we've spaced out the letters wider to space out the word. Sometimes that can be more visually appealing depending on what the look you're going for. The extras. There are lots of other extra ways to manipulate characters in InDesign. all of which can be found in the character palette. All caps and small caps. So gone are the days of if you type out your sentence and realize you wanted that whole sentence to be in caps locks, all you do is select it and hit the caps option, all caps, and it adjusts the whole text. Small caps is when the first letter of the word is still large as a capital letter, and all the letters are smaller but still remain capital letters. We have superscript and subscript, underline, and strike through. We also have effects. InDesign still has the fun features to embellish your text. It's just a little hidden. You can find these effects in the top menu under Object. So you select your text box, and then you can go to Object, Effects, Drop Shadow. Please note that when you do this, it affects your entire block of text that's in the text block. Effects. Once you choose the effect that you want, you are welcome to change them up however you choose. So there's some drop shadow, inner shadow, outer glow, bevel, satin, directional feather, gradient feather, all kinds of options, and you can adjust them to be whatever you'd like. But most importantly, fonts matter. Choosing a font that's legible, choosing a font for the mood can adjust how your reader or how your whoever's going to see your art, whoever's going to see your final product, it might just matter how they feel and how they interpret the words. Are there any questions from today's lecture? We'll go back to the chat and we'll talk soon.